So now those tests that we wrote, the TDD tests, we call it, we actually want to make sure that we're constantly testing the software. So we can create a continuous integration server, and we can actually make sure that every time we check code in, we're actually going to continually run these tests. So these tests are running thousands of times a day. They're testing all the behavior, all the test-driven development, and they're making sure that things aren't breaking. If we do break, we usually have a visual indicator up in the studio in our development team, and it'll say, hey, listen, one of your tests failed. So if somebody checks in code, and that code broke the unit test, the test-driven development test, or the ATDD, BDD test, the specification test, we're immediately going to know that we actually broke the system. So this allows people to continuously test and put code into the system in small increments, knowing we aren't screwing anything else up. We aren't breaking the behavior, we aren't breaking the unit testing, and we're keeping it going. And so we have this in our studio for all of our applications that we're developing. We even have it for our Agile discussion guide that you guys have in front of you. We have tests running to make sure that all the links to the URLs and the videos that we talk about, that those aren't breaking. So thousands of times a day, we're making sure that those links on the internet didn't change, and therefore we had a defect in our system. So continuous integration, also known as CI, is a very important practice. It gives you a continual feedback loop as to the quality of your system. So now we're going to talk about what used to be called collective code ownership. We like to call it collaborative ownership. So no longer do we think that people own aspects of the system. So it used to be like we were more specialized. Hey, I really understand this part of the system, the claims part. I understand the sales part. I understand the actuarial part, right? People would actually take ownership because they knew the code so well that they known the code. So it used to be before you could actually change that system, you would go to a person and say, hey, you understand the claims part of the system. Is this okay to change this code? Collective code ownership, collaborative code ownership means that everybody owns everything. There's a shift in architecture, right? Everybody's an architect. Everybody, because we can do simple and evolutionary design by writing very small components of code, and our tests are all reinforcing the behavior that we expect, everybody owns the code. So it really kind of frees up this whole, I'm a T-shaped person. I know, not only am I T-shaped in my language, I'm T-shaped in my domain, and I know this product domain very well. So I'm the only one allowed to change this product domain. Because we have all this test automation, it supports collective code ownership or collaborative code ownership. And that's game changing when it comes to scaling and being T-shaped and having anybody work on any business value and without a fear of actually breaking the system. Right? I don't have to, it's not the person that's been there the longest that understands how everything works in that domain. It's now automated to the point where I can actually bounce around and work on anything in my language because I have all these tests and behaviors that are constantly running against me.